Hey guys, Bob here and welcome back to the channel. As you can tell, today I am driving. I'm on my way out to the gun range. A little bit earlier I was messing around with a few of my rifles, doing some cleaning and just setting things up for this coming hunting season. And I got to working on my AR10 and I got a Peep Site on that thing. And I realized these are not cooperating with the Peep Site. So I've got some Arken Optics laying around, an SH4 Gen 2 and a mount. So what I'm gonna do today is hook a optic up on my AR10. I'm getting older, my eyes are not getting any better. The Arken Optics are super affordable. I've got an extra one laying around. So I'm gonna help myself out, I'm gonna help the rifle out, and I'm gonna get the Arken Optic SH4 mounted up on my 308 AR10. I'm gonna show you guys how I go about doing this. I'm gonna try to keep it short, keep it simple, keep it sweet, but also enjoy some time at the gun range. So let me put this phone down, finish getting to the range, and I'll show you guys how I do this. Now that I'm at the range, the first thing I like to do is get my target set up and a plumb bob downrange. And what I use that plumb bob for is getting my crosshairs lined up. You can use any kind of a weight. I use a string and a washer. It works perfectly well. Gravity gives me that perfectly vertical line. Once I've got that all set up, next I got to set the rifle up. I use a couple different various bubble levels, and I need to level off the actual rifle. In this case, I've got a bubble sitting on the top of the upper half of this AR-10. You may do a little bit different with a precision bolt gun, but in this case for this AR, it's going to be good enough for what I'm looking to do. So what I do is I level off the rifle itself once I have my base torqued down. So my rigid mount is torqued to 30 inch-pounds. Level off the rifle. With my scope rings loose, I'm next going to now focus on that plumb bob down there and get the crosshairs on the scope lined up perfectly with that string I've got down there. Once I got everything all lined up perfect, I'm going to tighten down the scope rings to 18 inch-pounds with the Wheeler fat wrench. So let's do that now. Double checking that everything is lined up and perfectly square. I like to go back and forth with these bolts, making sure I keep the gaps equal on both sides and torquing a little bit on the left and a little bit on the right so that the scope itself won't cant or turn from the clamping pressure. Double checking that the scope didn't move. I like to go back and forth in a crisscross pattern as I tighten them. Once you get the rear ring tight, pretty much the scope can't move, and your front one you don't have to be as slow about. One last check to make sure that the scope itself is perfectly level with the plumb bob. Crosshairs are lined up and our level is still perfectly centered. Well, I sent 4 or 5 rounds at downrange. I've got a nice group going, so I know the optic is basically bore sighted at this point. I'm going to send down a couple more rounds, get my turrets all set, get the rifle zeroed and my zero stop set, and at that point, hey, I've taken my gun that had a Peep Sight on it that I wasn't able to use anymore, and I've got it equipped with an Arken Optic SH4, and I now have a more usable rifle from now on and in the foreseeable future as my eyes get a little bit worse. So hey, I hope you found this useful. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but replacing a Peep Sight on your AR platform, or really any rifle, with an Arken Optic. So next time, get out there, keep shooting.